Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another lovely rider. Today we have Frida in the house, all the way from Scandinavia, yes. And she's going to tell us about her career in bobsleighing and whatever else she does. Nice to have you here today, Frida.
Nice to be here.
So moving on to the bobsleigh.
Yes.
Now, just for the listeners, Frida has been, if you've seen Cool Runnings with our beloved departed John Candy, for those who are old enough to remember him, with the Jamaican bobsleigh team, that's where Frida has trained. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So why bobsleighing? What was it about bobsleighing that? Because that seems really dangerous, and that does.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair. You obviously hope that it won't be, but things happen. So one of my best friends in Sweden sent me a message saying that she had found my ultimate sport.
Okay.
She convinced me to get in a car in Stockholm and go to Norway. I was sure that she was in the other car because we were 2 cars driving, and when we get to the border to Norway, she sends me a text message saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm not coming this weekend." So that was.
Did she do that on purpose?
Probably. She knows me. She knows me well enough.
But you've got to crack on anyway.
Yeah, it was no problem with that. And I mean, the guys were lovely, and she had actually found skeleton, so not bobsled initially. And I started doing skeleton. I was doing that for
what's skeleton?
Yeah, so that's the smaller sled where you go one person head first.
And you got the helmet on, yeah?
Yeah.
And you got that skin tight lycra suit.
Yes.
Has that got pads on?
No.
Really?
No.
Really?
So that's where I started.
Okay. So you got gloves on?
Yeah.
Padded gloves? Like?
A little bit, but not a lot.
And you're just wearing trainers or something?
No.
What are you wearing then? On your feet? Sneakers? Trainers? What?
Yeah, no, so you have, it looks like track spikes. But the spikes, it's more smaller spikes.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Running track spikes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got that on, and you just got. And what's the sledge made of?
Steel. Steel and carbon fiber.
Okay. So the runners are steel.
Yeah.
And the sledge itself is carbon fiber.
Yeah, carbon fiber, and then you have skeleton, hence the name, of steel around it, and then there is a carbon fiber most of the time coating.
When you say a skeleton, I'm thinking of a human body.
Yeah, no, so it's the skeleton of a sled that they started the competition on, hence the name.
Okay, so skeleton just means the shape of a sledge.
Yeah.
Is it 6 foot, 5 foot?
I would say the sled is, roughly 4.5.
So you're hanging off it?
Yeah.
So you need a lot of core.
You have your head, it's outside, and then it goes halfway down your thighs, roughly.
Yeah, so it's from your shoulders down to the midsection of your thighs.
Yeah.
So you quite a bit of core strength.
Yeah, a lot of core and a whole lot of neck strength.
A whole lot of...
Neck strength as well.
Max?
Neck
strength.
Yeah,
you got to keep that neck up, innit?
You hit quite a few G's.
You have to tilt your head when you're going, like slightly an angle.
Yeah, and
direct
also there's so much G-force in some of those curves that your neck will get and forehead will get slammed into the ground.
What?
And it's a matter of being able to keep your head upright.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of beginners in the sport actually pass out in some of the curves because the G-force is simply too high.
Tell us what is the average G-force, what you do, to what is the extreme G-force. Do you see what I mean?
I mean, so it's not too different from a fighter pilot.
Oh.
It's in the bigger curves.
Have you seen Top Gun?
Yeah.
The latest one?
Of course.
Yeah, so, of course. Yeah. So when he's doing that, I really like that film. I need to watch that film again.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, well, because he did it like you can imagine him being a pilot.
Yeah.
He's like, you're in there with him. Yeah, go on, let's be that kind of thing. So you're doing that, but he's got the benefit of being sitting down and being on a sledge in a nice compartment where you can always press the eject button. Yours is on a skeleton of a sledge.
Yeah, I don't think the eject button is very comfortable though, given
doesn't
that
matter,
most of them compress their spine.
How is it?
Using it is actually quite dangerous.
Okay.
But no, it's a lot of G-force.
Don't tell me you've flown planes before as well. You have,
No,
haven't you?
I have not.
Come on, I'm
No.
surprised. I'm disappointed.
Sorry, I haven't had time.
Well, you can still get in there. No, but think about it. If you're used to G-force, then that would make you...
Yeah, but I'm too tall.
Wait a minute, how tall are you?
Yeah, 6'1".
You really?
Yeah,
Really?
they're really good.
So now the Onzes have got a really, like, a picture of a model that's some Scandinavian goddess, blue eyes, blonde hair, totally athletic and 6'1". Okay. Can do all the sports you name. Yeah, okay. Okay, I didn't realise you were that tall. So I'm 6'2". Okay.
Yeah. No, so I'm quite tall, so I don't think I don't fit into the criteria of...
I'd be surprised because that's all pilots, all fighter pilots. They can't be all short people.
Yeah, the little explanation that I've gotten to, it's that my back is actually too long to be able to press the eject button.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense because tall people have long backs,
Yes.
long bigger vertebrae
Yeah.
and disc elements.
Yeah, I mean...
But our waistline for our trousers,
Yeah.
the legs are all more or less all the same as human
Yeah.
beings. Yeah, okay. That's really
Well.
interesting. So what is it about bobsleighs that you love?
The speed. I mean, all of the sliding sports, I've been involved in all three of them. It's the combination of extreme force, extreme speed, and extreme control.
You said all of the sliding sports, so you did, what other sliding sports?
I've done, luge skeleton and bobsled.
Oh, so those are two different things.
Yes, well, three different things.
Loose skeleton.
Luge is the one that I finished with and the one that I'm still working with today.
What's loose?
So that's feet first.
Ah, so it's just different. So you got
So
loose,
you got head first,
a skeleton
feet first, and then you got the cool runnings.
Yeah, so the cool runnings is bobsled.
Yes.
Okay, alright, so what's the difference between going between the head and the feet first, apart from just one's first? What's the difference?
So a skeleton sled, you're closer to the ice. So the way that the pressure hits and the way that you steer the sled is quite different. But all your extremities are in the right direction of the track. If you hit the ice, your arms are actually not facing the wrong way. Whereas on a luge sled, you're a little bit higher up, and a luge is actually the fastest out of the three. And you're a little bit higher up, and with that, you get more speed, you get more control, but you also get significantly worse crashes. But you can steer the sled so much more. I mean, in skeleton, you need to, to an extent, where you're looking is where you're going, but in luge, it's really where you're looking is where you're going.
So how do you maneuver? Because you've got one point your head first, and the G-forces are the same as a fighter jet, so you're going... Are you moving your whole body? Are you twisting your shoulders?
No,
Are you just
so
tilting your head?
To an extent, yeah, you tilt your head.
And your feet, do they act like rudders?
On a bobsled, the one in the front, the pilot, is holding two D-rings. So two rings with strings that are attached to the runners.
I remember that on Bob.
Yeah, and that's how you actually steer the sled.
So what's your position on the bobsled?
I was in the back.
In the back. Is that because you're tall, or are they all tall?
Yeah, no, we had the pilot that had done it before. So, and that race was on very short notice, to be honest. So she was the one that we decided to be staying as a pilot. And quite frankly, if we would have switched at that point of time, it wouldn't have been possible.
So do they do things in size and weight? Like the smaller you are, you go at the front, the heavier you are, you go at the rear?
Not really, but to an extent, if that makes sense. You do, in all of these sports, need to be very careful with where your point of gravity is. So for example, if you have a very heavy pilot and a very light brakeman, you would have the point of gravity would always be in the front of your sled.
Yeah. You want to distribute it.
Yeah. Or sorry, vice versa. If you have a heavy pilot, you have it in the back, whereas if you have, and that means that your back runners will be more likely to skid. Whereas if you have a very heavy person in the back and a very light pilot, you have the other scenario.
That means everybody must have a strict diet and nutrition system, because you can't have someone say, oh, sorry, I put on 4 kilograms or a stone last month. Do you see what I mean? Because you're messing up the...
You also add weight into a bobsled. You have a maximum total weight that the bobsled is allowed to weigh.
Oh, so you put weight to compensate people seeing they lock in at certain places?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So that's a bit like free diving, or diving where you put weights in your belt?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can play around with it a little bit. But I mean, it's a great sport. It's a great community around the sport, especially amongst the athletes and the people who've been involved with the sport for a longer period of time. But I mean, as any sport that requires that much equipment as the sliding sports do, it's a financial struggle for a lot of athletes to making things work. So it's not, as much as it's a great sport, it's also, that's the sad side.
This is going to be a 2-part interview, one about bobsleds and the other about winter sports, the other about NFL and soccer, or football, as you should say. So we really thank you.
Thank you.
Want to follow you on social media, can they?
Yeah, sure.
What's your social media handle?
On Instagram, it's Frida with 2 A's and then Ingstrom with 2 M's.
You want to spell that quickly?
FRIDAENGSTROMM.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.